Welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy, and we are going to work on sorting signatures and how I go about deciding which page is going to go where in the journal, which signature, which order, what it's going to be facing, sometimes what I need to be doing to those papers to make them fit in that particular place that I have chosen. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to put the cover away. And I'm actually going to leave these papers out because I will be working with them as well. We'll just move them to the bottom of the pile, almost to the bottom. So I'm going to show you the papers thus far that we have, well, I have made, you have watched me make. Here is the paper that I didn't want to cut off the bird's tail, and so I folded so that I had the entirety of the bird. My journal is going to be, the pages are going to measure 4.5 by 7. So I wanted to make sure that I had that 4.5, including the bird. And so I folded just past the bird and extended with this mulberry paper this page out to 4.5 and folded over the excess of this side to create this pocket. And this is all glued down. So there is one page. Here is a page where I have this tab cut out and it's backed with the lace. Here's a page that I have a tab cut out, but I'm going to fold it down and use it as a flap. And there's the back side of that one. And what I do is, if I have pages that have a similar print on them, like I think there are a couple of pages that have this same rose on it, I may make those face each other just so that I have that extra oomph of the image. And then here is the page that is going to become a pocket. It's lined with vellum. Those are both fussy cut out. But that'll count as one page, and that'll have to be a signature page, a signature center for that one. Here's a piece of the mulberry or the onion paper already cut down. I tore down the vellum. I just made this pocket out of a piece of the linen that I showed whenever I did the intro, and you can go back and watch that whole intro. And what I did, I found the center of it, and it measured perfectly 9 inches from the center to the edge. So I folded in that edge and sewed around it with a zigzag stitch, and now I have these linen pockets that are all ready to go into a journal. And I sewed them 1/4 inch apart so that there was enough play that it wouldn't cause a problem when it was sewn into the signature. Not too much bulk. Here is a page that I backed with the wrapping paper. And then I tore the top edge of the wrapping paper, and I had already fussy cut around this, or semi-fussy cut, because I used these roses in another application for this journal. Here's some coffee dyed paper on another coffee dyed paper. This was on lined composition book. This one, most of the lines are gone, but I dried it on lace, and you can just see a very subtle imprint of the lace on there because that was one of my first attempts at dyeing with plastic placemats. These are the smaller pages that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. A lot of these may just become journal cards, but they may become pages in the signatures should I need them. And I'm going to set them over here. These are pages that I haven't done anything to. I will probably put pockets or paper clips or different things like that on them after they are in here, or maybe the collages. This is a coffee filter that is coffee dyed, and I cut the ends off so that it would be the 7-inch height. Here's some of that paper. It still has the tape on it, but I kind of like the look of that tape, so I may figure out a way to incorporate it in the second piece of that paper. Here's one of the avocado dyed sheets, and again, it's extra long because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I would hate to lose those edges. So they will probably become a side pocket or something. Here's my papers from where I was practicing with the sprays. I have the Tim Holtz Dispress Spray in Vintage Photo on this side, and on this one I have a Smooch Kiss in Candle Glow. And the same on here. This is coffee dyed, and the dots came from the pen I used, and this has the Candle Glow on the front, and a little bit of it soaked through to the back. Here's one of our pages that should have been over there because it's something that we did something to, but that's okay. And this is where we backed it with this paper, and I didn't want the white piece showing, so we did some stenciling there. This was the one where we glued that paper on after we stenciled the background of it, and this is writing paper. And that way's up. Here's a sheet of scrapbook paper that we stenciled on. Oh my goodness, my words. And because it was so long, this is going to fold over. I don't know if it's going to be a pocket. It's probably going to be a flip out because that's kind of deep to have a pocket and still be able to get things in and out. Unless I just close the bottom of it and it can be slid in from the top. Here is a page that was printed lace. We tore off part of the top of it and I put it into my scrap paper bin so I could use it elsewhere in the journal. And then we did some stenciling here. We folded this up to create a pocket on the bottom. This is one that we stamped and painted. And I will link the playlist for all these videos below. This is a stamp that I just love, and this is the first time I've gotten to use it. And it's from Tonic Studios. This is wine dyed paper, so it's got a very subtle rosy purpley tint to it. This is coffee dyed paper that we splattered on and stamped on both sides. Again, I've gone ahead and folded it so I know where it needs to be. I don't think that's going to be a pocket. I think it's probably going to be a flip out. I went ahead and put this here because I know that I want to use this stamping off piece on this paper. And this is just avocado dyed paper. It just dyed really weird. So you'll find digital prints of this paper in my Etsy shop under avocado, but it's got the word odd in the middle of it because it's odd paper. And here's one of my opening sequence papers. Not opening sequence, but that first frame papers. I think that it's too tall, but I will do something with it because I want that in there. I used this on the inside of the cover. And I have 3 whole sheets of the onion skin paper in this rosy red color. And I still want to use my fabrics, and I probably will use them as a page if I can figure out how to incorporate them. I do like that they still have the paper frame on them because that gives them a little bit more sturdiness. And if I do this and put the wide end at opposite ends, even more sturdiness. So we will figure that out, but I want to do the paper part first, and then we'll figure out where we can put in the fabric. So I'll set that over here to the side. And let's begin. I know that I want 2 signatures. So sometimes when I do this, I simply take my paper stack of what I know I'm going to use, and I go 1, 2, 1, 2. And I simply do this. So we'll fast forward through this part. Whoops, we won't fast forward just yet. If I have something that is the same print, I'm going to make sure and put it in a separate signature. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so now this one will go over here, and this one, which is the same as that stamp, will go into a separate signature. Now, one of these piles has one more paper than the others, but that's okay. Because right now, it's just temporary, just giving me an idea of how big my signatures will end up being. And that's not bad right there. Matter of fact, it's pretty good. So, my next step, let's see. I'll set this to the side and we'll start with this one. My next step is to just lay all these out. See, these are the same roses as those. So I may, if I can figure it out, I don't know that I can do that since they're both on the same side. But what I would do if they were on opposite sides is I would figure out how I could fold it and have this rose opposite of that rose. But I won't be able to do it with this paper. So I'm just going to kind of spread them out and see what I've got to work with. I know this is my center on this page. Let's see, those two are very similar, so I'll set them together. And they're going to be kind of stacked. It'll be a little messy. And this is the point where I usually wish that I had a bigger desk, even though this one is already large. And we know that just because it's larger doesn't mean that it's not going to be as crowded. Of course it's going to be crowded. Let's see. There we go. And that and those. All right. I know that you can't see everything that I've got here, but I can. And the first thing I'm going to do is see which one I would like to be the signature cover. So the ones that I have that are layered on another piece of paper. Ooh, I don't know if I have any of those in here. Okay, so this is a point where I know I need to probably switch out a few papers because it looks like all of my papers that are from the kit, well, this one has another one on the back, but I don't want that on the cover. And I don't want that one to be the cover. So this is where I'll come over with my other stack and see if there's one that I think would make a really pretty cover for this first signature. This is odd. I don't seem to... All right, I don't think I have very many pages that are from the kit that are full size. But I think that this one, may work well for a cover because it does have the roses. So maybe this one. These are not roses, these are begonias, so I don't want that to be the cover. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to cover up or enhance those a little bit. Let's see. This is one of them from the book, but I don't want that for the cover. Not the book, the digital kit. Wow, it seems like there weren't very many of the full page sheets from the digital kit because there was not a lot to choose from. All right, so I have this one that I think is going to be the cover, which means I need to take that one out because I have those two together and I don't want that to happen. So, and this is also going to be the one with the flap, and that's okay if that flap is on the back. I'm good with that. So here is the first page. And since this one is a copy of one of my digitals, it's got writing space, obviously. And so I don't usually try to put the lined papers next to each other. And I know that I want this to be over something that is pretty but not busy. And but I think that that's going to be my second page. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it. And this is probably where all those smaller cards that I set over to the side, this is where they will come in to make sure that I have all of the pages from the kit. I think that this is the one that printed out the wrong size. So this is part of the set that printed out the wrong size anyway. All right, so I will put that piece of vellum in, and I'm going to put it in this way. All right, so the vellum is going to show through whatever is on the back. And like I said, I want it to be simple, but I want it to be visually pleasing. Actually, I want the whole journal to be visually pleasing. I don't know why I say it like that. So I also want to make sure that I don't have similar things next to each other, like the dots and the dots over here. And this part, you would think it'd be easy. Just slam those papers together. I overthink things. So, I think I am going to grab, where'd that piece of, I think the onion skin that was already torn went to the other page. So I think I'm going to go ahead, find a place where the water's not going to mess any pages up. My desk rarely looks like this, except for when I'm doing this. All right, so I need it to be 9 inches. That one's not wide enough to be 9 inches, so it's going to come from this way. And I'm going to get my water brush out, because I want that wet, not that wet, I want that edge, that fluffy, fuzzy edge. So I am going to go ahead and paint my water line down here. And then tear that off so that I have my beginning of where I will measure for this. So I'm going to measure 7 inches, which is going to be right there. And I'm going to mark it, whoops, by folding up against the end of the ruler and making that mark. And then I will put my ruler right there and paint my tear line. And I didn't use quite enough water on the last one, or I didn't let it set long enough, one or the other. So it was a little bit harder to tear. Usually this just pulls apart. So I'm going to add a little more water to this one. I'm going to let it sit for just a second more. And I like how some of the onion skin kind of pokes out after that. I want to come in just a little bit. Let's see, which end? I'll come in from this end. Just a little bit, so that I can get my 9-inch measurement. And just to let you know, you don't have to use only the papers that you already picked out. If you are short on papers, or you just think that your selection maybe is a little blah, a little boring, a little less than what you want it to be, go grab some more papers. You're not stuck with what you started with, unless you are doing a challenge and you have to stick with it. I have done those challenges, and so I just make sure that I grab a whole bunch of stuff at the beginning, if I can, that can be used in a multitude of ways. There we go. And so now I'm going to use that, because I think the vellum will look good with just having that bit of background behind it. I have some ink on there from something. You can actually wipe off vellum if you're very careful. So I will do that in a moment. I'm not going to make you watch me remove ink. That would be kind of like watching paint dry in reverse. Still be boring. All right, let's see. I think that next I would like to have a printed page. So I'm going to go with this. Now, do I want the pockets that way and that way, or do I want to go this way with them on the interior? I think I'm going to go with them on the exterior, because I don't do that as often for some reason. I don't know what the reason is. But sometimes I'm like, maybe I'll try it this way this time. So there is that. Now, this is where I think I am going to end up pulling in more papers, just because I have a whole lot of coffee and tea and avocado and onion skin dyed papers here, and not a lot of the other kinds of papers. So let's go ahead and finish doing this, and then I will go draw from my other papers. I am going to do this. This has more of a pink tint than that does, and I want that to be in there, so I don't want to forget that. I think that I'll go with this lacy one. Put it there. I have not torn the edges on it yet because I was not sure exactly what I was going to do with it. So I will tear those pages. So I will tear those edges. I need to take not much off. So let's just pick an edge that I like better. Well, that's not easy. Okay, so maybe I could just fold in. Let's just do that. Let's just fold in. And we need to fold in at 9 inches. So I'm going to do this, and I am going to do that little flap, 9 inches. Push that up against there. It's kind of a cheating way to get my straight line without having to do a lot of finagling. So I got that, and I'll just burnish it as soon as I get it lined up correctly. I must have moved my ruler while I was doing that. Here we go. That'll work. Okay, does anybody else around here, does anybody else on here find themselves saying, "That'll do, pig"? I do. I don't know. I'm a little weird, you know. All right, I am going to take a page from that stack and put this one in there, because I just feel like I need something different, something with a little color. So I'm going to fold this one, and remember, my edges are rough, so they're not going to be perfectly folded. That's the point of this particular journal style. And that'll go there. Again, it's still a lot of brown on the insides, but that will probably be taken care of when we get to the decorating of it. And I think I left this one long as well because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Yes, it's 1 inch long. And I think I'll take it off this end, just because I really like this watermark here, or coffee mark, I guess I should say. And make my mark there. I'll be tearing off part of that collage on the back and part of the stenciling, but I can use that in making tags and tickets and tip-ins and such. So that's not really a loss to me. And the main part that came off on that was the stenciling. So see, that'll make a good belly band because it's already the right length. And then this part here, I am just going to come through and tear because I know that I didn't glue all the way to the edges. There we go. And I, for one, really like that torn edged look. You'll see me do that on a lot of different things. Matter of fact, I think that that's glued all the way down and I can't do anything with it. Yep. I can tear off this little part. And I think that that helps. I like it. And this blue line here picks up on the blue in that page, so I think that that will help as well. So let's go ahead and fold this one up in such a way that the two blues are going to be next to each other, just like that. And that yellow livens up this a little better. It doesn't look so bleh. There's a lot of brown in here. I don't usually do a lot of brown, a lot of tea stained. That is by itself. All right. Now, I do like this one, and I need to figure out which way I want to fold it to put it in there. I think I'd like to do it this way. And this gives me a bright, bright set of colors. And I think that I'm going to pull this out. And let's see, it echoes that really well. How will I fold this? I think I'll do it like this. Yes, and I'll put that there because this is pink, that is brown. This is onion dyed, onion skin dyed. It's in a digital set called Ogre dyed paper, because I used a bunch of different onions and shallots and garlic skins in there, and it came up with that really unique color that I like. All right, and so now I feel like I can put that in there because those colors pull together so well. And I am going to pop just a little bitty piece, a little piece of washi tape on here because my lady keeps trying to leave the page, and I don't want her to leave this page. And I don't want to glue her yet because I think I'm going to make it a pocket. But that'll go there perfectly. Now, let's go ahead and these pages are way uneven, but I think that these two are pages that I decided I was going to put lace between the layers. So I think that that will be fine to not mess with the edges or anything, because it's not going to matter. You won't see the edge of the other side of the paper. And she picks up on that onion skin paper. We've got a nice pop of color right here. There we go. And we're almost to this signature. I think I pulled this over extra, but I'm not sure. We'll find out. All right, this one I wanted to fold over, so I need to get my ruler, bring it to 9, and bump that. And actually that edge lines up, so I can just do that. And then I will fold these two together, these two sides. And then I just have to decide which way is top, which way is bottom. Do I want that opposite of the roses, or do I want that? No, I want that opposite of the roses. So we'll do that. And then I have this piece of paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and tear that off. I like that look. All right, and it is already 9 inches by 7 inches. And I'm just going to fold it up. And it may just end up being a texture page in there. You know, actually, yes. Let's just do this. Let's give it a little texture real quick. I'll have to be careful folding it, unfolding it, because it's not quite as strong as the other pages. But I like that look. I'm going to go ahead and take, let's see, let's get a darker one. Take this and kind of run over those crinkles and creases. I need a little darker than that. Actually, we'll just throw some colors at it. Give it some interest. This isn't stenciling. I don't know what you would call this. Distressing, I guess. I'm just picking up the random brushes that still have some ink in them. We'll see what shows up, what doesn't. Because right now I don't remember which brush I used for which color. And by the time I get done with this, most of the ink will be out of it anyway. Okay. Now let's turn it over and do that on the other side. It'll actually have less color because I have already used a majority of the brushes. So that'll be okay. And if I feel the need to, I can always re-ink a brush. A little bit of blue on this one. It's barely there, but just enough that it gives it an interest. And then finally, I know that this one's kind of a bright red, but I don't know how much of it is just the staining of the bristles. It's got a little ink left in it. There we go. Oh, and then this one. Which definitely is pink. All right. I'm happy with that. So now I'll just smooth it out a little bit. And I may put a collage on there when it comes time to do those pages. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And get my center page that is going to be a pocket. Remember, I'm going to seal those two sides up after I get the signature sewn in. And on this, I think I'm going to put a piece of washi tape just to help with strengthening that fold, especially since it's going to get holes punched in it and it's going to be worked around. I have no idea where I got this white tape, but it has come in really handy, this white washi tape. Because previous to the washi tape, when I needed white tape, I was using medical tape from the Dollar Tree. And it worked, but I'm really, really liking this washi tape. So let's go ahead and get that folded correctly. I don't know why, but that side just wasn't seated the way it should be. Okay, make sure I'm upright, and I am. And so right now, there is the beginning of one signature in the journal. And I'll use a clip to keep it close and set it to the side. All right, so I like this page. And that may be the cover page for the second signature. Goodness gracious. Okay. I am pretty sure that's going to be my cover, though. This is very odd that I did not end up with very many of the digitals that are in the full size. Of course, it's different, and I think it's always good to try something different. So we're doing it. All right, yes, this is going to be the cover. And I will go ahead and get this folded. And we know this is going to be a tab. Let's get that creased with our folder. And now we'll go about doing the same thing. We'll put things into an order that works well with what we have, and so that we've got things that are complementing each other and not boring and not clashing. So here we go. Setting this one to the side because I need to do something else to it. Okay, so at this point, I know that where this paper clip is where this piece is going after I get it finished. And I think I am going to make a pocket in the center of this signature just like I did on the other one, except for I am going to use this piece of fabric. And I'm going to have it open, not here, but at the top. So that way, when I fold this down, it gets me just at the correct height. And by folding that down, I keep that piece of paper intact that is backing it. And when I put it together like this, it gives it a smooth entry point so that things won't snag. And I will probably edge it with some lace. I'm not so sure I like that pinking there, but I do like the way the fabric looks. Just like that. So that will be the center of that signature. Let's see, I didn't use this, but I don't know that I have a place to put it where it won't make it too much more brown. So that'll go off to the side and we'll see what happens. So there I have, I'm going to go ahead and put this in here just to see how it feels. And that seems to be very close to this one. It's a little bulkier. Part of it's because of this pocket here. I also know that once I get my cover on it, I will have room to put all the goodies and stuff, and it'll still lay fairly flat. So that is basically how I do the signature selection. Now I am going to have to go back, as you could tell, and fiddle around with a few things, maybe move a few papers around, maybe add a little bit of different papers to put in. Ooh, I didn't even notice that. Look, that is going to be facing that. It's the same bird on both of them. Let's see what the back looks like. I don't remember. Yes, that looks pretty. All right, I'm happy with that. So that will be our journal signatures. Obviously, I still have stuff I want to do to it, but it's coming together nicely. So there you go. There's the signature selection. This will be folded down. This one I may leave sticking out and just back it with something to make it stronger. I think it's looking good. So I just want to thank you for joining me today. I want to encourage you to watch the other videos if you have not. Like I said, I will link a playlist down below. And I would encourage you to remember to be kind always. Bye.